When it comes to ethics, we have to be aware that there are two things to understand. There's a legal piece that we need to be familiar with, as well as the ethical piece. So, in the first bullet point on this particular slide, I states that while ethical issues are based on the differences between right and wrong, legal issues are based on the established laws. And as you all know, each state has their own laws when it comes to us as counselors or providers. It says, I'm recommending that it's important that we as providers, that you make sure that you have access to legal representation, especially when it's dealing with the law, because each state have their own set of laws regarding treating the public. And I know that I don't know of all of the laws in the state of Alabama, so I have made it a point to connect myself, with an attorney that's knowledgeable when it comes to counseling in the legal aspect. The third bullet point that I wrote is that it is advisable to carry malpractice insurance to protect your assets in case of lawsuit. And even though I am employed full time by an agency in Mobile, Alabama, I am covered under their malpractice insurance. But because I also have a private practice, I have decided to get my own private practice malpractice insurance, because you never know if you're going to be subjected to a lawsuit. And what I want to do is just to share with you the type of malpractice insurance that I cover. I have I'm insured by this organization called HPSO. And it's an insurance that's used by a lot of counselors. And what I made sure that I had I'm covered for at least up to $1 million with $3 million aggravated claim. And as you can see, these are all the things that I'm covered for, because I want to make sure that I don't put myself in a position where if a lawsuit is filed against me, they can go after my personal asset. Now, this is not so much the ethical piece that we're going to be talking about, but this is the legal piece in case I am subjected. And I get all of this type of coverage for an annual fee of $348. So to me, it's a pretty good it's a pretty good plan that I have, and it's being covered by the Healthcare Professional Services Organization, or better known as HPSO. So make sure you understand the importance that we protect ourselves from a legal perspective. Now, I want to again ask just a quick question, is to see how many of you all have malpractice insurance. And I think some of you all have already dropped something in the chat box. And so some of you all have used what I've used, HPSO, and I see a couple of people have used CPH. And someone asked me how much did it cost. And again, it's a little over $300 a year that I pay for my liability insurance. I'm glad to see in the chat box that most of you all do have your own malpractice insurance, because we just don't know. We never know if we are going to be subjected to some type of lawsuit. So kudos for you all who have taken the liberty of getting your malpractice insurance. All right. So let me go back to my, here we go. Let me go back, put it in, and here we go. Now, what I want to do now is to talk and walk you through the National Board Certified Counselor timeline development, because it's important to become familiar with the extensive history of NBCC. So if you look at the first bullet point, it states that back in December of 1979, the APGA approved a plan to create a generic counselor certification registry. And then in February of 1982, as you can read, the APGA president chose the member of the first NBCC board. And so the first board meeting took place in April of 1982. And then in July of 1982, as you can read, the NBCC was incorporated as a not-for-profit entity separated from the APGA, and the separation ensures an unbiased certification and an assumption of liability of NBCC. So in looking at this timeline that you have in front of you, NBCC has been its own independent entity since 1982. And so as of July of this year, NBCC has been its own entity for 41 years. So it's good to know that NBCC has been around for over 40 years. Now, there's also some affiliation and division under NBCC. So you have the NBCC Foundation, which was created in 2005. And this particular foundation, they use scholarship, fellowship, and capacity building grants to encourage counselors and also training. And then in the last sentence on this slide, it says that this particular foundation has been instrumental in increasing access to mental health care in rural areas, military, and minority community. So this is a very important foundation that NBCC has developed. And then you have what's known as the NBCC International. And so this particular entity was created in 2003. And as you can read, the whole purpose of NBCCI is to promote counseling on a worldwide perspective. And so by being a worldwide perspective, this entity or branch want to obviously focus on cultural sensitivity, and it's also designed to offer trainings throughout the world. And then the second bullet point, as you can read, there is a EBCC, the European Board of Certified Counselors, which was created in 2010. And this particular branch works strictly in Europe, and it provides support of European countries that are developing their own professional counseling effort. So I don't know if you all have heard of the NBCCI or even the EBCC, but this is real exciting for us as counselors because that let us know that the field of counseling has branched to an international level rather than just within this country. So so with the NBCC International and with the EBCC, they fall under the NBCC Code of Ethics. So again, the field of counseling has really grown. And when I go back to when I first became a counselor in 1982 and compare to where the field of counseling is now, it's like night and day. So this is great news for our profession.